How's it going everyone, it's Gavin from Balls to You, and in this video we're going to be looking at ultrasound. So before we go any further, I just want to discuss with you guys the live feed that I've been doing, the ball talk. I've had so much positive comments regarding the live stream that I will continue to do it. And a lot of people are saying, oh, you know, sorry I missed it, this, that and the other. Right guys, if you don't want to miss a live stream, just make sure you hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button, just so you won't miss out on the live feeds as and when I do them. They are just literally off the cuff, you know, just get on there, just chat with you guys, communicate, just share my thoughts, and it's becoming really sought after, which is awesome. So I really do appreciate your feedback and you guys participating on the live feed. So if you do want to participate on the live feed, just please make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Make sure that notification bell is highlighted, otherwise you will miss out. Okay, but for now, let's take a look at this ultrasound machine. Now, I did purchase an ultrasound machine. However, I need to go over a few things before we look at the ultrasound. The ultrasound for me was, or is, a upgrade. Okay, so I've done it for years without the ultrasound, and this, just because you get an ultrasound, will not guarantee you success, guys. Just because you've got an ultrasound does not mean that you'll be able to breed ball pythons. So for anyone who is thinking that if I get an ultrasound that'll make me a breeder and I will have success, you won't. If you don't understand the process, if you don't work out your breeding recipe, then unfortunately no amount of, you know, you could have the most expensive ultrasound in the world, it will not help you to produce eggs from your snake. The ultrasound is there as a tool. Like everything else, you have a number of tools at your disposal to help you with the breeding process. Now, research is the key. Learn your animals. Research what you are, the species you are working with, and learn what you want to do or what you want to achieve. It's very easy to sort of think, I want to go and breed ball pythons, and a lot of people claim it to be easy. It kind of is and it kind of isn't. If you haven't got the right conditions, then it's not easy. If you got the right conditions, then yes, it's easy. But you've got to get the conditions. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to know what you're looking for. You've got to know your animals. You've got to know when to feed and when not to feed. You've got to know what sort of condition the female is in and what sort of condition the male is in. You need to know when to breed and when not to breed. All that sort of stuff comes into the breeding process. The ultrasound machine for me is a help. So it's confirming what I think is going on. And I have used this ultrasound now. I've ultrasound all my females and I've been playing with it and getting used to it, and it's very interesting. Very interesting. It doesn't mean that, you know, like I said, if you've got an ultrasound, does not mean that it's going to work 110%. Okay, it does not mean that you are going to produce eggs from that female. It just confirms what you already think is going on. And the one thing it's done for me is I've been able to look at the females and go, right, this female follicle development is at 10 millimeters. Her feeding response is fantastic, so I now know I need to give her more food. Then I've got another female that's at 10 millimeters and her feeding response isn't there. It's non-existent. So I have two females with the same follicle size but two different reactions, and this is where knowing your animals comes into play. The ultrasound just tells me their follicle growth, and I know how, and I take from what she's doing to know what to do with her moving forward. So like I said, the one that's got an awesome feeding response, I'm going to give her more food. The one that's at 10 millimeters that hasn't got that feeding response, I'm going to put a male in, okay, to try and get her to feed. So it's a help. It's not a definite, but it's a help. So without further ado, let's get in, let's have a look at the ultrasound. I'll show you the one I've got and we'll talk about the model itself. So let's take a look at the ultrasound. I went with this model simply because this is a veterinarial piece of equipment. Now, I'm not going to say that this is the most expensive be all and the best out there on the market. What I look at is value for money and whether or not it's going to do what I need it to do. And we've spoke about before investing in your animals. This particular system, I know a few breeders that use it, and they rate it for the value for money and what you're getting. It works fantastic. Now, this is the user manual that I got. Okay, it's very straightforward, very easy to use. It's believe it or not, it's not very thick either. This is because it's all in English. It doesn't have the other languages which will make the booklets most of the time quite thick. It is an English manual, so that's fantastic. You know, I've read over this. There's pictures as well, because personally I get bored of reading, so the pictures and all that sort of good stuff, you know, it makes for easy reading or light reading, let's say. So it's pretty good. You know, you can go as deep as you want into the actual learning experience of the ultrasound, or just set it up for the basis of what we will need it, which is obviously the ultrasounding of the eggs on the female. As I said, this is a veterinarial type ultrasound. So as you can see, we've got diagrams of cattle. So it's real good in that side of things. So the ultrasound itself is absolutely fantastic. So that's the user manual straight out the gate. It does come with a bag as well, so like a carrying bag, which is fantastic. So we'll talk about the probe in a moment. This is the unit itself. As you can see, I haven't took the protective cover off it. It's pretty good. You know, it's pretty standard. It's almost like a laptop type situation. You know, you've got your ports on the back, power port. The battery's not too bad, considering. You know, it could be better, but it is what it is. So I try not to keep it charged up. So I use it, let the battery run down, and then obviously I'll charge it back up, just to try and keep the longevity of the battery. On opening, so we've got a power light here, and we've got the charging rate here. So on opening the unit itself, as you can see, we've got a screen, and we've also got our keyboard. You know, it's pretty straightforward, guys. Don't be too scared. But we've got all the buttons here, like a bit of a QWERTY keyboard, and then we've got the main buttons here, which we use. We've also got a bit of a scroll mouse here. So the other good thing with this unit is it's got a USB port in the side, which you can. I've currently plugged in a receiver for a wireless mouse, so that's really good. So it's really easy. The ball's a little bit oversensitive, but with a mouse it does make it a lot easier. So on first thing, basically all we do is we just switch it on and just let that warm up, fire up like so. Let's just adjust this. There we go, so you guys can see. While that's warming up, I will tell you, you will have to order some ultrasound gel. I got that from Amazon, the same place as I've got this. All the links for the gel and the unit will be in the description box below. While that's warming up as well, we'll talk about the probe. So this is the probe that I went for, which it tends to be the one that most ball python breeders recommend, which is the linear probe. This is a 7.5 megahertz probe, which you can pick from the probes that you want, but this is the one that I've gone for and I'm using, and it works absolutely fantastic. So let's take a look. Now it's come on. So pretty straightforward. Again, we've got everything we need. Here's the ultrasound itself. We've got some various different side categories, and down the bottom we can pick on. We can change whether or not we want to look at a cow or a cat or a dog, etc. I've just kept it on the cow. It really sort of kind of makes no difference. The other thing we can do as well, we can store the data, we can input the animal and then go back to it at a later date and see its development. I'm not going to do that on this. that's what I've got Reptiscan for. Reptiscan has a area where you can scan and save the data, which again I'll put in the video regarding the follicle development. So on the right hand side here we have the basically we have all the information, the depth, what we're going up to. This goes up to 60 mil. Again, it's enough to go down as far as down as we need. We've got the battery life, as you can see, and here where there's nothing at the moment, but you will see once we do some ultrasounding, this is where we have our measurements. So it's really straightforward, very easy to use. As you can see, we can use the mouse, or I can use this mouse here that's already plugged in. So the unit itself, very easy, very straightforward. I dare say we can adjust some pictures and change the depth and all that sort of stuff. I've just basically kept it simple. I don't want to overcomplicate it at the moment. I'm just getting used to it. Once I know what I'm doing and I've used the machine a number of times, then I'll probably try and have a play with the depth and this, that and the other. So enough of me waffling, let's get some snakes out and let's do some ultrasounding. So I'm going to go over a few things which a lot of other ultrasound videos I feel didn't quite touch on. When is the best time to ultrasound your female? Well, my advice would be pretty much try and do it as and when they have come off food or they've stopped feeding. You can ultrasound a female while they're feeding, but bear in mind you will see some fetal down the tract and all that sort of stuff, down the digestive tract. The other thing to do is do it during the day or in the morning or when they're not so active. Obviously they're nocturnal, so that's why I say during the day. So this is Sugar. This was my first original ball python. I've still got her, love her to death. There you go, sweetheart, just stay there. And I'm going to try and show you guys where to ultrasound and how to ultrasound. The other thing I want to point out as well, depending on where they are in the growth phase, will depend on where the follicles are. So when they're early stages, you'll tend to find them a bit more higher up from the tail. When they're growing and they're getting bigger, you'll tend to find them closer down towards the tail. So let's get ultrasounding, because as you can see, Sugar's getting a little bit restless. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our probe and we're going to put plenty of gel on there. Nice thick blob. And what we're going to do, you're going to locate the spine and you're going to go either to the right or to the left hand side of the spine. So let's just chill her out. Okay, so we're either going to go to the left or to the right, depending on where, you know, we're going to start off, where she's lying or how she's lying. So you're going to come down at an angle like so, and straight away I can see a egg, which I'll pause it and I'll show you guys shortly. So again, while we're coming down at the angle like so, as you can see, I'm also turning, making this sort of movement. Come here, sweetheart, come on, darling. Okay, I'm kind of making this sort of movement, and what you'll do is when you're seeing the screen, when you watch the screen, you'll see the size of the eggs change because of where the sound waves are bouncing off internally. So let's find a good one. Now Sugar is known for giving me 13, well, between 10 and 15 eggs, let's say. So there's quite a few in there bunched up, but I'll try and find a good right about there and we'll freeze that frame. So the gel is basically a water-based. It's not going to harm them, it's not going to hurt them at all. So I'll just wipe it off like so. Everything's all good. I'll wipe it off the probe like so. Put that in the bin. Right, so I've turned the lights off for this because bear in mind when ultrasounds are done, it's 9 times out of 10 they turn the lights off so they can see the picture a lot better. So there's a little tip for you. Turn the lights off if you are going to ultrasound, and go from there. So when you've been looking at this for quite a bit of time, you kind of know what you're looking for. And as you can see, the top end of the screen here, this is the spine, okay, and you can see the ridges coming down, these lines, those are the ribs. You can see there as well, we've got a nice definite egg. So and what I have noticed is with the females that have like 10 millimeters or the lower end, the follicle is a lot darker. As they get bigger, they tend to become more lighter and they become harder to see. So what we're going to do is measure, and this is how I measure, because I think this is probably the best way. So we've got the distance setting, and we're going to go from top to bottom, which you can just see there, and we're going to go from left to right or right to left, depending on which way you're looking at the screen. So at an average, that particular egg, so one diameter is 26, the other diameter is 30 millimeters. And the good thing about this machine is it gives us an average. So the reason why I do that cross section like so is because I'm working off the average, okay? As you can see, depending on how the female is lying or how many eggs are in there, will squash the eggs up. So I always recommend working on an average. The one diameter or the one measurement measures 30 millimeters, the other measure 25. So straight away we can have two measurements there and think, oh, she's 30 millimeters or she's 26. So working off an average, like I said, is probably the best way to do it. And for me, if I can see other follicles or other eggs there, then I will take multiple readings and then again work off an average. So I've got 28 there. I'll show you on another snake because she's got quite big eggs. So what I'll tend to do is try and get two eggs in the same shot, and I'll measure both of them, and then it will still work out an average, which is fantastic. So as you can see, that particular egg is down at 28 millimeters. I've currently got her at 26, so you can understand, you're going to get a few millimeters difference. That's why I always try and like to grab a few measurements from a few eggs. And again, when they're moving, they'll squash them or they'll make them bigger. As they're moving, the eggs will move around. And again, if the female's got plenty of eggs in there, there's going to be all bunched up and squashed up. So never, never sort of rely on this information as being gospel. For me, this is all about data collection. Look at the data next season and see where we was last season compared to this season. So again, we're going to come in through the side. We're just going to see what we've got. So just about there, I can see the follicles or the eggs, depending on what stage they are at. Put her back. I've turned the lights off. As you can see, we've got a beautiful follicle slash egg growing and developing. You can clearly see the spine and you can clearly see the ribs coming down. So again, we're going to take our mouse and we're going to measure from top to bottom, from left to right. He's squashed either end. You can see there's another egg here and there's another egg here. And that's giving us basically an average of 23 millimeters, which I've got that female down at 23 millimeters and giving me an idea of what's going on. So now I know how much I need to feed the females or when to put a male into the females. And again, this is the first year I'm using it, so it's going to be all about collecting data. At the moment, my process, the way I'll do things, I would say a male visits a female probably about 4 to 5 times through the breeding season. With this machine, I should be able to pick up when to put the male in or when to not put the male in. So if I've got a female that's reading, 10 millimeters, and next month I ultrasound her again and she's still reading 10 millimeters after I've put a male in, then possibly she may not go, and I know not to worry or not to pair those back up, because whether there being a male in there or not, she's not going to grow her follicles, and that means she's not going to go for me this season. So I don't have to waste, and I mean this with great respect, waste my male going into that female to pair, to lock up, for me not to get anything at the end. There's just no point. I might as well now put that male with another female that I do want the project to succeed with, or maybe with a female that has got better follicle growth, and that way I'm not sort of wearing my males out too quick too soon. So regarding the ultrasound, it's going to help fine-tune my breeding recipe, but again, this isn't going to guarantee you eggs. Normally round about 30 millimeters is round about 30 to 35 is round about the glow stage, and they tend to be, once they glow, they go. Anything below that, before that, potentially maybe end up that, or they can reabsorb. So just because we can see there this female has 23 millimeter follicles or 23 millimeter eggs does not mean that she's still going to go on and lay a clutch. It just means we've got a reading and we can keep an eye on her over the next 2 to 6 weeks, with her growth, with her eating pattern, and continue to put that male in if we feel it's necessary. So let's do another female. This is my Black Phantom line pastel spot nose female. So she's been bred to a leopard clown because I want some het clown combos. Her mom is about to lay eggs, so that's absolutely awesome, and she's well on her way as well. She's around about 25 millimeters. So let's have another look at her and I'll show you where those eggs are. So you can see how she's lying. It's perfect for us to do a ultrasound, so I'm going to put it on there, and where are you? There they are. So her eggs start about here. I can see they start there and they go all the way along to round about there. So basically she has eggs from this crease up to this crease, so which is great. So we know she's doing really well. So let's just see if we can get a freeze picture. And what you'll have, because we're ultrasounding this side, you'll also have a few eggs this side. So maybe you'll see a full egg here, then you'll see as you're looking this way, you'll see like half an egg here, and then you'll see a full egg here. So always have a look around, don't always go off the first thing you see. Have a look around, see where the eggs are, and just get a good solid freeze frame of that particular area that you're looking at. So hopefully you guys can see this. As you can see, there is our egg or our follicle. Here, just there, is the egg, but it's another egg, but it's sort of sat behind the other egg. So this one here is just behind, again, spine and ribs. So again, we're going to take a measurement from there to there, and from there to the tip. It is there. So there we've got an average of 27 millimeters. We can do it again by just, let's take another one. So if we felt maybe we overestimated it, so let's say if we thought it was here to here, or from there to, let's go there. Again, we can get an average. So now we've done 2 lots of measurements, or 4 lots of measurements, and it's giving me an average of 25 millimeters. With that particular female, I scanned I ultrasounded 3 follicles / eggs, and they all averaged round about 25 millimeters. So she's well on her way. She probably just needs 1 more pairing, and pretty much we're good to go. You know, she's going to produce eggs. A lot of breeders use the ultrasound to find out where they are, and then they will only sometimes do 1 pairing. With me, I feel we want to replenish the sperm, so we want fresh sperm there, so it sort of eliminates the slug ratio. But again, until I use this year in, year out, I can't really definitively say whether the 1 pairing or 1 breeding or 1 copulation works or it doesn't work. For me, I think if I was using this, I'd want to do 2 stages or two pairings, because there is 4 stages. So there is 4 stages of development. So I'd like to do 2 pairings on the last 2 development stages, which we'll talk about hopefully in a moment. So I hope this helps, guys. I hope this really does clear a few things up, and then we'll use this data, like I said, and we'll look at the females and see how they're fit. There we have it, guys. Ultrasounding at the HQ. I really hopes you move forward and consider maybe as and when you can invest in one. It's not going to give you, there's an old saying, all the gear and no idea. So in other words, you've got to know your animals. You know, this machine will definitely help you move forward, or fine-tune your breeding recipe, but you've got to get a breeding recipe. If you haven't got your breeding worked out, then don't go out buying this machine thinking it's going to help you, because you need to figure that out for yourself. Okay, there is I'll put a video above somewhere, or up here somewhere maybe, on understanding a breeding cycle of a female, which will obviously help you. But definitely research, learn your animals, know what you're looking at, and try and figure out for yourself your own breeding recipe. Take bits of information from other breeders around the world and see what works for you. Okay, if you have any questions at all, guys, please put them in the comment box below. And before I go, I just want to give you guys a massive thank you, or a box of gratitude, as The Rock would say. Deliver a box of gratitude to you guys for supporting me on Instagram and YouTube. I can't thank you guys enough. This channel, all the content is to help you as breeders move forward, or help you in some sort of way, or answer questions. And I really do appreciate your feedback and your help with the channel, and also your support and your loyalty and all that sort of great stuff moving forward. So with that being said, I am going to put up, shut up, and get out of here. Thanks again for all your support, guys. Love and respect you all. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.